Here to keep the chase going, share information, spread unity, preserve our heritage and our culture. We're trying to achieve something that you just can't catch. We're always trying to find a better way, trying to make better dogs. That's what Dixie Doggers Podcast is. That's who we are.
This episode is brought to you by Rankin Ranch 38 Cattle Company. Marc Rankin specializes in Brahma and Brahma Cross cattle in Oglethorpe County, Georgia. You can contact him at 407-832-2077. 407-832-2077. This episode is also brought to you by Phil Wilson of UC Hunting Properties. If you're buying or selling land, farms, or hunting property, these folks know land. You can contact him at 678-791-3483, 678-791-3483, or visit his website down below in the description.
All right, everybody, it's Joey Nate here one more time with you, Dixie Doggers Podcast.
Yes, indeed.
We're cranking these bitches out, man. We're knocking and rocking. So we have got a guest tonight, Georgia boy. I've been knowing him for a pretty good while. He is probably one of the first people that actually really gave me good, solid advice I met at the Bay Pens. He has outstanding dogs. Like, at first, I didn't like him very much because all I heard was first place, Bull Creek, second place, Bull Creek, third place. You know, it was always Georgia Power. That's what it was, Georgia Power, all the time. All the time. So the world famous Drew Todd is with us tonight. How you doing, Drew?
I'm doing pretty good, fellas. I appreciate y'all having me.
Oh yeah, man. We've talked about it for a while, and we're finally making it down the list. We had a pretty good list of guests this year, by God.
Don't say it had. There's no past tense in that.
We still have.
Because every week, Dad, Pat, Ryan, and then 4 or 5 other people would be like, man, you ain't got this person on yet? I'd be like, y'all added 20 people since last week, and we only do 3 a week.
But you know,
that's killing me.
That's showing that the world is going the right way when we got that many dog men.
Yes. They're trying to show off your editing skills and all that good stuff.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's exactly
right.
So
how good you are, how fast you can get them knocked out.
Yep. My God, he's been knocking them out. That's for sure. We keep him busy.
That's good, man.
Busy, so.
Well, I'm glad to be on the phone with y'all. It's been a long time since I talked with y'all.
It sure has.
Yes, too long.
And like I said, I don't know. I met you. I don't know, man. It's been quite a few years ago
First
now.
Time we ever
met. Probably, man. I bet you it was probably 2018 or 19, something like that.
Yeah, at least maybe before that.
That'd be about maybe a little longer before then.
Yeah,
I can't. I know I had.
I was thinking 16.
I know I had my Milo dog because me and my daddy talked. I remember. I won't never forget when we met you because after we left, me and my daddy had a talk home about how you and him talked. You know.
That's right.
But
because we had I was bringing them little Jags out there, and your dad Joey, he said them things are crazy. I said, yeah, they something. But no, me and your dad he's always been somebody I've looked up to. He's a really good man, you know.
Yeah, man, I was blessed with a great daddy. I'd never say that. Anything but that, you know. He's always done his best to help me succeed and want me to do best and cheer me on every step of the way. And that's what a good daddy's supposed to do.
That's exactly right, my man. So, Drew, for the people out there that don't know who you are and the listeners, man, we got listeners all over. I mean, Australia, New Zealand, China, Canada, South America.
Hey, man, y'all blowing up, get big on
that.
Yeah,
dude, we all over the world now. So tell them who Drew Todd is, where you from, what you about.
Drew Todd's just an old boy from Claxton, Georgia that don't even know what a hog is. Ain't really never seen one very much.
Shit.
No, man, I've been around hunting for really all my life. My daddy started hunting when I was 5 years old. He opened the Bay Pen when I was 7 years old, and we've been to the Bay Pens pretty much all my life here till the past few years when I lost a pretty good dog. And everybody knows you lose a good dog, that comes with a cost of a heartbreak, and sometimes it just makes you not want to do something as much as you used to. But I still go out and I catch boar hogs as much as I can, and we just hard on anything with a heartbeat over here. Like I said, like I told you earlier, we like to hunt.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that. That's one of them deals there where I think the people that don't hunt in this world, if they ever got to experience it, it would probably change their minds.
Oh man, I'm telling you, all the places that things take you, that's the best part about it.
Well, you were telling us some of the stories about turkey hunting and stuff, and we'll get into that toward the end of this. We always try to do some stories and stuff, but to me, that's one of the best parts of it, seeing the landscape and the terrain. And if you can go visit other places and hunt, man,
man.
It's something, So
people always give me hell. They're like, man, why don't you just fly? I'm like, bro, do you know what you fly over the top of when you fly?
Mm-hmm.
I drive everywhere I go. I want to see where I'm at. I might not never go again. When I go through there, I want to see it. At least say I seen it. Like I'll say I seen Maine. I've seen Michigan. I've seen everything here in between there. I didn't fly over the top of it. I drove straight through the middle of it.
That's right. That's the way we do, man. We drive everywhere, and like you said, you get to see all. And dude, stopping and filling up, using the bathroom, getting something to eat. You get to meet all kinds of people.
That's right.
And it's it's pretty weird, and we're getting to that point in, I guess, like the social media world and stuff now, where we've been in other states, and somebody will walk up and be like, "Hey, ain't you that guy that does this?" And I was like, sometimes I don't know whether to say yes or no. Because I'm like, this dude might want to smack me because I probably said something he didn't like, but but it's really a blessing to be able to do all these things, and you're going there now. You're concentrating more on doing that.
That's how I try to, man. We do what we can. We enjoy the traveling and the hunting and the places that it takes you and the people that you meet between. You talk about running into people. I remember me and Rainey was going somewhere, and I think we were in Tennessee or something like that, and got out at a gas station, and somebody had on a Bull Creek bait pen shirt that was from like 2008, 2009, 15 years later at a random gas station, and I just happened to be there when they was there.
That's pretty cool there.
Yeah, it was. Cool. He's like, where'd you get that shirt? He's like, we've been here. I was like, well, that's mine and my daddy's,
That's pretty slick right there, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty wild to be at a random store in Tennessee 15 years later, and see a shirt from your bait pen.
Yep, ain't no doubt. And so, doing all the traveling and videoing these hunts and stuff, so you said y'all were doing the Southern Way Outdoors. Y'all doing some YouTube stuff?
Yep, we're trying to, man. We've really been doing it. It's coming up on a year since we so-called started it, but when turkey season came, everybody's getting a lot of film, and we've got a lot of stuff. What would be the word for it, Nate? In our archives, I reckon would be the word.
Yes.
And we hadn't got to it, so we hadn't put out no videos. But I think we've got out, 12 or 13 different episodes, and some of them's got some hog hunting in it, and got some of my thermal dog hunting in it, and there might be some cur dogs in it. And I mean, it's just all around hunting. I mean, there's deer hunting with dogs. There's bear hunting with dogs. Man, I film my duck hunts when I go. If we can get some birds to fly over,
Mm-hmm.
We film whatever we hunting. We're trying to do something. We're not trying to do it to be famous. We're doing it so one day we can be able to look back on it and there's somewhere to see it at. You know what I mean?
I also love sharing what we do. Yeah. I think what we have, like after going to college, I just didn't realize how privileged I was to experience.
We take it for granted. We don't think. Yeah. We think everybody does this.
And then I went to college. I was like, this place kind of sucks. There ain't no hills. There ain't no pigs. Ain't no dogs. It's just school, maybe a party or something. And then it's like, no, I know what these people need to see. And I tell these hunting stories and people would just be enamored by it. And I was like,
man.
Saying,
exactly what you mean.
I like the archival part of it now. The older I get, I like that too. Like you said, you kind of you're leaving your history. You're leaving your heritage.
There you go. It might not nobody see it, but it's not important if everybody sees it. One day I might have a youngin' and he may not have had me his whole life or something like that. And he can look back on it and say, that's my daddy,
do you think that Fred Bear honestly thought that I was going to be sitting there watching his stuff from 1940 something?
Or what's that other fella's name? Dick Prinicky. You think anybody?
Dude,
you think he thought anybody was
that's a
going to watch
bad
all of them
dude.
30 years worth of
But I
tape?
do know what he did think.
Yeah.
Man, I love this.
Yeah, he done.
They both
Exactly.
thought that.
That's what I'm saying. You got stuff like that. And during that time, they were probably doing it as an educational part of like, okay, this is how you do these. Now it's historical.
Yes.
And so hopefully, hopefully we in 50 more years, everybody will still be able to do what we do. And there's
at least leave our print. That's the
and
least
if
we
not,
can do.
they can look back and say, hey, because I love, just like you said, I love sitting back watching them guys swing a damn broad axe or foot adze, work a draw knife, sit on a shave horse, run a spoke shave, working with hand tools and building stuff.
Right, it's interesting. It's stuff that we're not accustomed to anymore.
That's right.
Everything's so easy.
And I've been a builder for 30 years, and I got to a point in life when Nate was probably about 8 years old, and he hates it. He hates me for it, I'm sure. But I decided I was going to take a double buck saw, crosscut saw. I was going to cut me some trees down. I split them with wedges, and then I took and made my own lumber to build some bookshelves.
I don't hate anything because I also know how to do that because I was only 8.
Yeah, at the time though, he was like, Dad, you got a planer, you got a skill saw. But I was using a foot adze, a draw knife, and a spoke shave, and scorps, making bowls, plates, chairs, and just to see if I could do it. And I'm gonna tell you, you will get a newfound respect. Those were grown men back then, buddy.
You can't go back. Those were real men. You know what I mean?
Didn't have
Hey, I've
anything
swung
else
a
to
maul. Hey, when I first become self-employed,
Yeah.
I was fired. I got fired from my job, and I was about to quit anyways. We didn't really get along where I was. I didn't like it, and they didn't like my attitude, and I didn't much care for them.
Mm-hmm.
But when they let me go or whatever, and I said, I'm not going back to work for somebody. I've got to do something.
Yep.
So I went to chopping firewood, and buddy, I swung a maul for about a week and busted plenty of cords of woods with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and found me a log splitter real quick.
That's right. but like it makes you appreciate having the log splitter.
We'll be back after a quick break.
And now, thanks to the sponsors and friends of Dixie Doggers. Animal Housing Solutions.
Boars N Broads.
Crockett Taxidermy.
Hardcore Hog Dogs.
Southern Cross Cut Gear.
Ada Y Transport.
4L Kennels.
The American Doghorn Museum.
Unique Hounding Hunting Supply.
Hogbaying.com.
Tuskers Magazine.
Mud Creek Hog Dog Trials.
You're daggum right. You're right there. Those were grown men to do that all the time.
Man,
Every
just
day.
think they did it. Hell, the men didn't even do that. Really, the women did. So they were tougher than me. Yeah, my great grandma could have beat the shit out of me in a fist fight in a bar.
Hey, my grandma would outwork most men today by half a mile.
Mm-hmm.
She'd walk chicken houses every day, tend the cows, hoe her garden, fix her dogs breakfast, fix them lunch, then cut the grass with the push mower. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then make sure she cooked lunch and dinner.
There was a lady, her name was Sydney Wade. We called her Granny Wade. She was 91 years old at the time, I believe. And I went by there one day. We were working on her house, and she was outside, and she was push mowing this yard, man. And it was in July or August. It was hot. She had a new riding mower up under the shed. She would not use it. She was scared of it. She didn't like it.
Right.
But like I said, and I tried to mow the grass for her. I was raised to, hey, if you see somebody doing that, you need to get your ass out there and get busy.
That's right.
And so, and like I said, I just went by there to check on some stuff, and I'd already worked all day. So I was going to cut the grass, and she wouldn't let me. And man, every day that we worked there, she would have lunch fixed. I mean, a full 7-course meal, I guess you'd say, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And those women cook like that: breakfast, lunch, and supper, dinner, whatever.
Yes, sir.
My
I can remember my daddy telling me when I was a lot younger that my granddaddy thanked him one day when he come home for lunch. He said, "Son, I want to thank you." He said, "For what?" He said, "Because if it wouldn't been for you, I ate a ham sandwich every day for lunch." And but my daddy for 20 years come home from work every day at lunch, and my grandma cooked a full meal for lunch, like a Sunday dinner every day
Yep.
for lunch for my daddy, my granddaddy, and her. You know. But he said, "I want to thank you for that because had to eat tomato sandwiches or ham sandwiches for all these years at lunch."
Well, hey, a good old tomato sandwich, I mean, you can't hardly beat that.
No, it's pretty good, but I reckon Granddad said he got old if he'd ate them for 20 years.
I know that's my dad was like it. He would eat tomato sandwiches all the time, and
Oh yeah, my daddy eat them. My grandma ate them all the time. My granddaddy ate them all the time.
I don't know if people. I'm sure there are people that still eat like that, but I don't think it's that many.
No,
You know,
it's the older folks that
Mhm.
still. Yeah, it's the left in them. You know,
That's right.
something quick to eat. All they got to do is slice it off the tomato and throw it on a piece of bread and go back to work.
It's easy and it's light on your stomach. It's
I
good
love
for
it.
you. It's healthy.
Yeah, ain't
And
gonna make you sick.
that's right. I mean, and like we were talking about, sharing those stories and reliving that, that's keeping our heritage going.
That's it.
Because now there's going to be somebody out there listening that says, you know what? I remember my grandma told me that, or I remember my granddad doing that. And maybe, and they might they might grow them a garden next year.
There you go.
I hope
Stand for
so.
yourself.
And more people need to do that.
That's right.
Now, you said something in that right there that kind of piqued my interest. You said she would fix her dogs breakfast and lunch.
Yes, she did, man. My grandma woke up every morning and she had two blue healers. My granddaddy never really was like a big dog man per se. He was a farmer. You know what I mean? He didn't really hunt, but he was a farmer. And my grandma, they had cows and they had some blue healers. And my grandma would get up every day for breakfast, before daylight and cook them hoe cake and eggs
Oh, yeah.
every morning. And then she'd give them whatever was left over from lunch. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So they'd have them a full meal every day.
Hell yeah. Well, it paid off to be a blue healer at y'all's place.
No doubt.
Sweet. There's not a lot of people that would even do that for a dog today in this day and time, but
No, that's right.
those dogs were probably worked their butts off and they were took care of. So
That's right. They dag sure. My granddaddy could he could stand on the back, go out there too. He had electric fence, in the middle of it or whatever.
Mhm.
And outside of it, red brand. We've got 80 acres here, I believe, and probably 60 of it would have been fenced off, and he had it divided up in like 4 different pastures. And whichever pasture he wanted to put them cows in, he'd take them dogs down there with him on the 4-wheeler, and he'd drop them hot fences. And when he dropped them fences, he'd look at them dogs and say, "Go get them." And them dogs take off across there, and they'd bring every cow from the pasture that they was just in across into the next one. And that's how he moved his cow.
Hell yeah.
But,
Cow
I reckon they lived for it. I think that was just one of them natural things. I think Granddaddy just said, well, they'll move them when they want.
Yeah, that's it. So I mean, even though he didn't do a lot of hunting with the dogs, he still had dogs, and apparently he was a dog man.
There's been dogs and horses here my entire life. I'm 27 years old, and I can't remember a time where I ain't had a dog. My daddy, he was the one who started it kind of in his family hunting, and he started coon hunting. And there's a VHS he tells me about somewhere. There's an old tree back here in the back of the field, and he's climbed up in the tree, and he's got his blue ticks up under him, baying a coon in a cage up there, and he's getting them to bay it. And when he's, whenever the video cameras came out that day and age, he bought him one and he was videoing it. But he started hunting with dogs. I think he told me when he was 19 or 20 years old, he got him some coon dogs because he had some cousins that had coon dogs, and then he got him some deer dogs, man. And when I was growing up, he had field trial rabbit dogs and top notch dogs like that. And I got a little bit older and we got into the hog dogs, and we've always had deer dogs up until a few years ago. Man, I hunted in this one place my entire life, and it got sold out to into a WMA. It was 10,000 acres is what it was, and they got all turned into a WMA. But we used to hunt all that, and it's 10 minutes down the road from the house. And I grew up down there running deer dogs my whole life, up until probably 4 or 5 years ago. I think is when we lost all of it. There's still a little piece left of it. Like they've got a couple thousand acres that they run, every other weekend or something like that. But I don't go down there much no more. There ain't, about can't have no deer dogs if you ain't got a big tract of land. I mean, you can, but
It's still, yeah. You got to have a place they can stretch out.
That's right. You want them to stretch out. That's what's fun about a daggone buck race, even if he's just a spike buck.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's what makes the thrill of it, is get them go fast dogs, But we've had dogs my whole life, man. I can't remember a day without one.
Now you got, I know y'all, like you said, you got into the hog dog stuff, and y'all were doing the bay pen stuff as well.
Yep.
Man,
I got a trophy. I've got all my trophies right here in my house. Most of them. There's some that you get split and you don't get the trophy, and then there's 4 or 5 at Daddy's house up there, and then there's 4 or 5 up there at Rainey's house, and there's some at my shop. But the first trophy I've ever won, man, is sitting right here in front of me, and I won it in 2006. That was the first one I ever won. But my daddy had been doing the bayings a little while before me. Like I said, I think he started hog hunting when I was probably 5 or something like that. And I know when I was 7, we had the bay pen up and going. So 20 years of pretty much been a part of it or been around it.
Sweet. Now, what breed of dogs do y'all? I didn't know if y'all had started out with one and then kept it the whole time, or if y'all have tried.
My daddy
ones,
would buy cool coon dogs, man. There's this old junk man down the road named Paul. Him and my daddy's best friend. He used to make Paul famous right here for y'all.
Hell yeah.
Paul was a dog trader, and he traded cool coon dogs for fun, and they just swapped dogs until Daddy found one that would bait. He's like, that son gun there can bait. And I don't remember, he had a blue tick was his first good dog, and I don't think she come from Paul, but he had a couple dogs that he won some money with back in the day that come from Paul that was just old hound dogs. He'd just get what he could.
Yeah.
But as we got more into it, we started getting the dogs that are bred for it. That's with anything you do. You get a dog that's bred for it, it's a lot easier to make a dog out of him than one that ain't. Not saying that it can't be done, but it's a lot easier when you got the ones that's bred for it.
Yeah, no doubt.
But for a long time, it was hounds, man. That's what everybody had in them early days, dude. The cur dogs got popular. As time got on, them cur dogs got bred a little bit better and better, which there's always been good cur dogs. But when I grew up, what I was around was hounds. You know what I mean? That's what everybody was baying, was a bunch of hounds. You still had people like Miss Kathy Joyner. She still had a bunch of cur dogs and people like that. And my daddy had a few cur dogs, but his best ones was always hounds.
I got you. So y'all went to, now when you say cur dog, you talking about Catahoulas or?
Yep, Catahoulas was for the most part what we've always had. Crossed up Catahoulas,
Gotcha. Now like I said, I've been around the bay pens for a pretty good while, probably 8 to 10 years total, and never really seen many yellow dogs.
Right.
That, as far as like full-blooded black-mouthed curs, until I went to like Texas or Oklahoma, and I seen some out there. And man, I'm gonna tell you, they're phenomenal there. Like it's like a whole different dog. Right. I was just wondering if you ever had any good yellow dogs or seen any out that way.
Man, there are good yellow dogs. They do exist. There's quite a few of them that do exist. I hadn't had very many of them. I've got my best dog's yellow, but he ain't no yellow dog. You know what I mean?
That's right.
He ain't even got no yellow dog in him. Neither one of my yellow dogs do. They're bull mastiff and Catahoulas. But there are some of them. My daddy had one that was a black mouth long time ago, man. Long when I was a young. And I can't remember what that dog's name was, but you had to hunt him with a piece of weed eater cord on him, like 30 foot long, because you couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
A grown man couldn't catch him, but I could catch him.
Oh, yeah.
And that joker right there would go find hogs all the time. He was a hog dog, but you couldn't catch him. And I was the only one that could catch him. Daddy got tired of it. He got rid of him. And he told me for the longest time that he just run away. He don't know what happened to him. We found out till I was a grown man that he got rid of the
Got rid of
dog.
that son of a bitch. He got
I was
tired
like,
of
man,
fighting
you
with him.
got rid of my dog?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I couldn't catch that fool.
Yeah. Damn, that's funny. So that now doing the hog hunting and stuff, tell our listeners how, the style of dog that you've got and how you hunt your dogs, the predominant way,
Yeah.
whether you cast them or road hunt or rig them or wind them, rough dogs,
Right.
bay dogs, that's what a lot of people, we get a shit ton of questions like that. And that seems to be like the driving force of what people want to know is what style dog works and where it works best at, so run it down for them.
I run rough dogs with brains is what I like to call them.
Mhm.
They're not completely fools, but you get 2-3 of them in there together and they gonna catch whatever they barking at. And if they're all three together, they ain't gonna really bark. My lead dog, he's gonna bark 2 times no matter what. He's gonna ho just to let you know, hey, here he is. I'm fixing to catch him.
Yeah.
If he's by himself, he'll sit there and bay all day. Y'all, y'all, y'all. But you get all them dogs, which that's how I want them. I like them to catch. I don't own a bulldog. I use them rough cur dogs, but I always make sure I got me 2 or 3 of them in there. Now that I've made, a few of them, I've got a couple of them that I can throw in there to keep them from getting killed. It keeps a lot of injuries down when you've got 2 or 3 rough dogs in there. And I hunt off of a 4-wheeler a lot when I'm running cur dogs because they are rough. I about won't go anywhere that I can't take my 4-wheeler because I'll send that thing. You hear me? If the
That's right.
dogs is caught, I'm going to
Man said I'm
them.
gonna
And
send them. You hear me?
most of the time before I stop that 4-wheeler, I'm gonna bump the hog in his ass.
There
And
you
then I'm
go.
gonna get off the 4-wheeler.
Run that son of a bitch over.
That's the only way to do it if you're gonna keep them alive.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna keep them alive, you got to stay on top of them. Like we were talking about earlier, my best dog, if there ain't no hogs around, he's gonna act like the biggest piece of shit you've ever seen. He'll want to get back on the 4-wheeler. He's not gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
But you put him in a place where there is hogs and he ever leaves, you better stay with him. I don't let them get too far away from me because they'll go. They ain't gonna stop. You get in front of them in the middle of the road, and they're gonna go around you unless you tell them to stop and get on the 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
But I stay with them because I am proud of them. You know what I mean? I enjoy the dogs that I've made. I want to make sure they stay alive. And I've had dogs get killed because of my ego before. I won't do it again. A hog is not worth the dog to me. There's more hogs. We'll catch one another day type deal. Worst
Yes.
come to worst. Especially with the rough dogs. But I'll try to raise enough of them that if something happens, I've got one to replace it. But if not replace it, sit in this spot until he can replace it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, if I do cast them, I'll know that there's a hog somewhere close by. You know what I mean? I believe when you cast a dog, when there ain't no hog, you're just trying to create mistakes for the dog. Why you sending a dog when there's no hogs around? You're like, he'll find one in a mile or two from here. We'll send him from here. No, I'm not going to do that. Mine's not going to go that far anyways because I've never made them go that far to try to find a hog. If there's no sign, they'll go out. They'll make a 500-yard loop, 600-yard loop, sometimes 800 if they ain't been turned out, and they'll come back. But they ever keep strolling out, usually they get over 600 yards, they on a hog, and they're going to run him till he stops. And usually, if they're all three together, it's fairly quick. If they're all three together, they're going to stop him and shut him down pretty quick. If they're by themselves, they might have to run him a little bit, but they've usually all got the brains to back up if it's something too big for them to handle by themselves at the same time. Even though they're rough.
That's hard to find.
Even though they're rough as they come, they know their limitations. I've got a full-blooded Catahoula that he's like my number 2 dog, and he's rough. But if he's by himself, man, he's gonna bay. Like the other morning, probably the last time I really went before we got all this bad weather and the hogs kind of left because, ain't no dry ground. I sent him out in the cornfield, and I kept my good dog, my best one, Elvis, on the four-wheeler, and I set him and the third best and a puppy. And they took off, and Billy took the track and hit the woods, and the other bushwhacker, he turned and went and hit the cornfield, and the puppy, she wasn't doing nothing. This is the first time I ever took her, acting like a fool, really. And I said, well, Billy's probably on the hog, being it's daylight. He's heading to the woods. And bushwhacker come back, like trying to go to him. When he did, I caught him, threw him on the four-wheeler, and was in the middle of trying to catch this puppy, and she's kind of skittish. I'd been working with her in the yard a little bit, and I had the collar on her, and she was coming to me, and I could catch her. Well, it come down to it out there in the woods, I couldn't catch her. So, I'm fighting with her, and about the time I start fighting with her, I hear it, yo, 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 to go to bed. And I'm like, oh, there he goes. And he was a couple 100 yards from me, and I had both of the other dogs already on the rack on a four-wheeler. So I was like, I'll just catch her and get over there, send them all in there at one time. He's going to sit there and bay until I get there. He's not going to catch him. Well, you can hear when they try, if you're close enough, you can hear when a dog tries to catch a hog.
Oh, yeah.
You hear that break in his chop or whatever he's doing, you can hear it. Well, he never broke his cadence and what he was doing. So I knew he was just standing back baying, but he was in a big, thick, overgrown clear cut. And, when you get in that thick stuff, it's like a brick wall. If a hog gets after you, can't get away from it. You know what I mean? Dog, he can't get away, and he's the only target in there, So all of a sudden, I get my hands on the dog, and about the time I get my hands on the collar, he quits barking. And I'm like, what is he doing? I was like, and I looked at my Garmin. I said, the hog must have broke. I looked at my Garmin, he was coming back to me. I was like, something ain't right. I know he ain't trashing, you know what I mean? Because I knew this hog was going to be in this field. I've been watching this track cross the road, wiping it down, know where he was, been timing it out, knew he was coming right at daylight, and all that good stuff. So I knew he was on the hog. Well, he finally got back to me. He was cut from his backbone all the way around to his dick. He had enough brains to know that, all right, that's enough. He took that, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. That was a bad one.
Oh,
He come back. He lived to fight another day.
Yeah, that's something you don't see a lot in those rough dogs.
No, a lot of them don't know their limitations
think
because they
they
haven't
catch
been
it all.
put in the situations of the limitations. See,
That's right.
If I've got a rough dog, I'm not going to just throw him straight in the pack amongst some bad, MFers, and throw him in there. I might start him like that and get him going, but once I get him going, he's about to go by himself, and he's going to learn that he's not Superman. He's going to have to learn that he does have limitations, whether the hog gets away from him or not, and he gets, cut up a little bit, he's going to learn. It's all about a learning process. And really, I don't take dogs to the woods per se till they're almost 2 years old. And, there are exceptions to that at times, judging on the dog, but the dog's got to show you that he is the exception. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But for the most part, I don't take them before they're 2 because I run rough dogs. I want them to catch, so I want them to be confident. So if you've got a year-old dog and he's going to be a rough dog, or you're not going to take your 7-year-old kid and throw him in the boxing ring with Mike Tyson.
Exactly.
Because he's going to get his ass beat. And you're going to create a very bad experience for that dog, and he's not going to want to do nothing no more. That you ruined him right there. He's never going to forget that. You might be able to get lucky and he forget it if he's got a lot of bulldog in him or something like that. But if you're talking about a cur dog, he ain't going to forget that. He's going to remember that.
Yes, sir.
And it's all about, if you find one with a little bit of brain, and it's so fun to have them dogs with a little bit of brain.
Oh yeah. I was telling Nate. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was telling Nate earlier. We went and pulled a boar hog out of a trap, and I kind of laughed a little bit, and I said, I kind of missed the days where I was just a complete idiot. He's like, what? I said, I can remember times when because this hog didn't have no teeth really, enough to get you in trouble. Seriously.
Right.
And he's about 225 pounds or so.
Now, he can spin around pretty quick. He's not
Yeah.
fat.
So I said, man, I would have had all these young dogs down there and dumped them in there and said, all right, boys, let's have some fun.
That's
And,
right.
You
But
know,
you're gonna create.
and if I would have got back then, I was like, if they were 6 months, 8 months, 10 months,
Yeah.
and they wanted to do it, hell, I'd let them do it. But man,
Yeah,
there's so many
yeah.
dogs that I ruined like that.
That's right,
But-
man. Yeah, it's a learning experience. I ruined so many dogs because, like you just said, they would do it, so you let them do it.
Yeah.
But
and
I like to build a drive in a dog, especially a Catahoula, because there's not very many Catahoulas that's got that short enough drive to them, especially full-blooded, you know. And I like my dogs crossed up. It puts a little bit more drive in them. But these 2-year-olds that I got, I've been really impressed with them, man. I got lucky. They come off of my Milo dog, and I had a Gyp come in heat, and I almost didn't breed him to her. And I said, you know what, I'm going to breed him to her. Because I never got a litter of puppies off of her, and she was a little young. And she hadn't really started doing nothing yet, but she was bred right. I'd bred her. I had her mama, I had her daddy. Her daddy was my Nova dog that I did so well with too. And I said, I'm going to breed him to her. So I bred him. I said, well, maybe she'll take. I'd been giving him this stuff to boost his sperm count. You know, he was 9, 10 years old. And I thought he bred her. A month later, he was dead. And a month after that, I had a litter of 7 brindle puppies, all brindle, every one. And I was like, look at here. And I've been holding them things back because I had so much respect for him, for the dog. You know,
now,
they earned their
you
opportunity
hunted him too,
to be.
correct?
Do what?
You hunted him also, didn't you?
No, I never
You
hunted
didn't
him.
hunt-
He was
okay.
hunted a little bit before I got him.
All right.
And,
Now, which
when I
one
got
do
him,
you
I started-
hunt? I thought one of the bay pen dogs that did really well.
I hunt Nova. No, yeah, I hunt Nova.
Nova.
will
Okay.
go hunt. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, man, I took Nova hunting the other day with Nova and the bitch I bred Milo to. Her name's Trudy, so his daughter. And I took Woodrow with Trudy and Nova, and Woodrow is Milo's son, and he is an identical match to him. And I took them hunting all together for the first time, and we was riding around a cornfield. They all lifted their head up and winded at the same time. I turned them loose, and I had 3 generations of dogs, and they're caught on the hog together.
Dude, that's what it's all about.
Man, it was pretty cool. It was pretty special to me, you know.
Hell, it's special to me, and they ain't even my dogs. I mean, having 3
Oh, man, I
generations.
appreciate it.
And the reason I say that is because I have a picture of where I have 4 generations of is all my Jags, you know. And I was sitting there and I was looking, I was like, you know, I said, man, that's really something.
Right.
Now, they ain't worth a damn,
man.
of course. They ain't worth the shit, but it
But
was
to still do that, to stick with it, you know.
That's
and
right. All those
know
years.
that them dogs is gonna make something, you know. And
That's
like
right.
I say, I'm big on that 2-year-old Marc because I like to take a dog, and when he gets getting close to a year old, I'll show him a pig. And if he starts, so be it. If not, you know, if he's 7, 8 months old, he don't want to do nothing, that's fine. We'll go back to the pen. We'll put you in the pen, and we'll let you sit there for a little while, and I'll bring you back and show you again. But usually I start them on a coon just because that'll fight back, make some noise, put them in a roll cage, you know, roll around, all that stuff. So once you get that built up, you know, they're a year old, then you get them baying good. You know, once they start baying where their focus is on that hog primarily, then you got something. So then you put him back up and you build that man, the last thing he knowed was a hog. You took him from that pen straight back with the hog, then put him straight back in the pen. So the last thing he remembers is the hog. You let that build up when they're, you know, coming through their year old, you know, 13 months, 14 months, 15 months. Do that. And then start doing mock hunts with them, you know, is what I like to do. Once he can run a mock hunt and be on the hog quickly in a timely manner, you know, then you put him with the pack and start taking him to the woods because, you know, they're showing you they're ready to go.
That's right. I agree with that.
You know, and
Now,
that's usually their dog ain't ready till he's 2 years old. And when you get I don't handle my hog dogs a whole lot, you know, when they're young. Because, look, I want you, cur dog's weird. I want you to like me, but I don't want you to be around me when I turn you loose.
Yes.
A lot of people handle their dogs too much as a cur dog when you're trying to make him leave. It's not like a bird dog. You know, a bird dog, the point is for him to stay beside you. So you make a big bond with him. You want him to stay with you. You're all with him all the time. You love on him. That's what you're supposed to do. You create that bond.
Yep.
But a cur dog, if you do that with him, he ain't gonna leave you. You know what I mean? He ain't got no drive. You're what he knows is fun. So I want him to like me, but I really don't want him to like me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I actually do go to turn them loose, that's like, man, I think I've got 5 of the Milo puppies out of the 7 left. 2 of them got run over. Followed a truck a mile out to the highway to get run over. And one of them got run over in my daggum yard while I was out of town. But what is it? I think 4 out of the 5 that's left, I've took to the woods, and the first time they ever got turned loose, they left with the grown dogs like they've been doing it their entire life. Now, we might not have caught a hog. Now, Woodrow, the first time I dropped him, he went with Elvis and Billy 1.5 miles and caught a little boar hog. The first time he ever went to the woods, you know.
Yeah.
He had never been to the woods, and I dropped him with them good dogs, and they took off, and he stayed with them, and he'd never done it one time, besides the mock hunt.
Yeah.
Mock hunts, you're building that confidence, and then when you finally take him, he's like, let me get away from this son of a bitch right here.
Yeah, he's ready to go get busy, yeah.
He's like, I ain't done nothing. Let me go do something.
And that's what I try to get people, that when they ask me about starting pups, and I'm like, well, first off, I ain't starting a puppy.
That's right.
I start a young dog, and I let him tell me when he's ready.
That's right.
I do like one that wants to start earlier.
That's right.
For a long time.
Hey man, if these would have been any other dogs, I wouldn't have gave them as long as I had.
That's right, but you already knew what.
But they mean something to me.
Well, and I mean, you know what they're capable of because you've had that bloodline for so long. You know what they're going to do.
Right.
And
I know their daddy, I know their granddaddy hunt. Their mama started hunting.
Yeah.
Their dad Milo probably would have hunted if I'd let him, but he was worth too much money in the pen to do that. Nova got to hunt in the woods because for a while he wasn't that good, and that woods kind of shaped him into a bay dog. Really, I hunted him for 6 or 7 months and brought him back, and me and my daddy bait him. And he's like, I'm gonna take that son of a bitch to the baying.
That's right.
And he took him to the baying, and he won the baying with him. The first time he took him back to the pen, he was like 19, 20 months old, something like that.
Yep. I think I was there.
This would have been
like
at Double B right here. This would have been at Double B.
I seen him when he won it might have been when y'all brought him back. I don't know. It might have been the oldest dog. I can't remember. It was when we done the thing for Ted Davis.
They all got cut up a lot and had to come down.
Yeah. You remember when we done the thing for Ted Davis, the guy who had cancer?
Yep. Yeah, man, dude. Oh man, that was a good weekend right there. I won't never forget it.
Yeah, y'all knocked them out that weekend.
Man, there was
I think y'all won about everything.
6 dogs in the there's 6 dogs in a 2-dog event, and I own 4 of the 6 dogs.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I think I might have won the 1 dog, maybe won the 1 dog, or got second in the 1 dog with one of them.
I know you placed in it.
I
want to say
man,
you won.
That weekend I left with a daggum knot in my pocket.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the one I was talking about. That because y'all, I think it was just y'all just had a damn outstanding weekend there. Is what
man, I've always done good there at Hickory Cross, and every time I've ever been, dude, with them 2 dogs, I've won something, and there was like 5 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I win, I'm gonna place in something. Was gonna place in something. They was gonna do something. It was just. The dogs was on time. It ain't nothing that I done. You know what I mean? It wasn't me.
That's right.
It was the dogs. They was just in their prime. Milo, when I first got in, the first bay-in he won was in August of 2017. And from August of 2017 to January of 2019, there was a bay-in about every month. And there wasn't a bay-in I went to where one of Milo or Nova won something.
Yeah, you can't ask for no better than that.
No, they went on a streak for a while, but you only get so many of them. Dog ain't got so many perfects in him, man. He can't do it so much.
Yeah.
They'll lay down and bleed for you as long as they can, but he can't do it but for so much. Milo, he was doing it. His hips was shot, and I watched him just take an absolute beating and wind up have a call to run out. And after I saw that about once or twice, I was like, well, I reckon he's done, and I brought him in the house, and he earned it. He paid for a lot of shit around my house, man. I was young. He saved me out of a lot of trouble. He kept me doing right. He introduced me to my old lady. You know, he set me up pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird how a lot of people they don't look into it like that.
Man, you'd have to see what the dog done to see the history in it. You know, he paid for me when I was just a young kid. You know, I'm still young now, but I was a lot younger then. He's paying my bills and introduced me to my old lady and kept me and my daddy going across the country together all the time when most young men's trying to get away from their daddy.
Yep.
You know,
that's like me and Nate, kind of the same deal. This thing that we do, we're together all the time. He's my son, but he's my best friend. And
yeah, man, I ain't got no better friend than Joey Todd.
There
he's
you
best
go.
there is.
And I'm gonna tell you, to be able as a father to sit here and to hear a son say that, that's the kind of dad I want to be. So and I'll be honest with you, like that what I was saying earlier. Me and your dad had a couple of talks years ago, long talks.
Man, that's what I was saying.
And
I remember the talks y'all had, and we talked about it all the way home. And we cried a little bit, but we understood that things happened, and the dog's what kept me and him together.
Yep, that's the same thing with us, man. It gave us something to do to get our mind off other stuff.
There you go. That's what it's about.
It's worked out great.
I cherish all them times, man. I haul my daddy around with me as much as I can. Like I told you, I'm proud of it. He went and had him a surgery, and he's done lost 100 pounds, and he's been walking up and down the dirt road every day, which has been hot. So he hadn't walked in a week or so, but he wants to go travel around and go kill some shit with me. Dude. We like,
Well, I told you, y'all come on to Alabama. Y'all got a spot here anytime.
Hey, man, we're going to be up there in the spring, and me, you, and Nate, we're going to for sure go down, try to video at least somebody killing a turkey.
There you go.
That's all I like to see. At least just if one dies, it was successful.
That's it. So, we talked about the hog hunting and the hog dogs. And I got to get off on this because if not, I'm going to get emotional, start crying. We're talking too much about father and son stuff.
Let's go ahead.
You're into the bird dog stuff, the retrievers.
Yeah, man.
Doing a lot of training and stuff. And where are you going with that? Tell us what you got going with that.
Well, man, dogs in general are just a passion of mine. You know what I mean? I live for seeing a dog take his true form, whether it be a bird dog or a hog dog. I like to see that spark. I live it. I live for it. I breathe it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I sleep and dream about it. I like training dogs. It's my passion, So I've always been into bird dogs, and not always, but since I've been a teenager, I reckon you'd say. And I've had a couple good ones, but I'm fixing to start trying to train a few retrievers over here and take in some outside dogs. I reckon fulfill a dream, if something was to happen, but it's not so much about the money. It's just about making a good dog. I'm going to try to make some retrievers. I'm not in it to make ribbon dogs and stuff like that. I'm going to make a dog that makes a man happy when he goes to the bird field. He's going to pick your birds up and bring him back to you and do what he's supposed to. That's what I'm trying to make. And there's no better way to want to upkeep a piece of property than make money off of it, And we've had this place out here for a long time. It do it some good to have a use to some of it. You know what I mean? I've got the place to do it. I'm set up to do it. I've got the knowledge to do it. I've got the time. I've got the patience. And like I said, most of all, I enjoy it. And I wake up every morning and go out there and mess with mine. And I got a couple coming in here soon. I've got a new set of kennels being built from my buddy Connor Anderson over there in Mississippi. He's building me a set of kennels so I can start taking in some outside dogs. And man, we're gonna see how it goes. I feel like it's something I'm supposed to do type thing. You know what I mean? Hell, some people were born to cut grass. Some people were born to be brick masons. Some people was born to be a doctor. Some people was born to be a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I was born to kill shit and handle dogs. That's what I
I'm
believe
talking about. Well, I mean,
that much confidence, it sounds true.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. Like you said, all the dogs that he's had, since I've known him, it's like I don't know. I only know Drew Todd as Georgia Power as winners.
Yes.
I don't know them as like competitors, really.
I know them as people I aspired to be.
They always, well, I mean, they were always
appreciate
in the winner's circle. That's how I know them. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't
man, if
see
I'm
it
gonna do
any other
something, I
way.
do it right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We don't half-ass nothing that we do. You know, my thing is if I can make a cur dog let off of a hog and watch me tie him up, follow me out back to the truck without ever having to touch him, besides take his vest off, I can train a damn bird dog.
There you go.
It's a lot harder to get a handle on a hog dog, you know, because there's such a difference. There's really no similarities in training of the two.
No.
You know, one of them, to me, there's no similarities because one of them I'm not really trying to handle them. One of them I'm about to spend at least every day 30 minutes, 10 to 30 minutes a day with it. You know, it's just a whole different concept to it. But man, I love duck hunting and I like a good bird dog, and there's nothing like watching a good bird dog work. It makes me happy to watch a good dog, and if I can make somebody a dog like that, even if it's just a few of them, that's all I'm trying to do, man. I ain't trying to become a billionaire. I'm just trying to hustle and keep on not working for the man.
Well, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that because there's a lot of people out here that want to do it. And they say they want to do it.
But you got to take them steps, man.
You got to make it happen.
Yeah, you got to go ahead and just move forward and put it in action.
It's not going to be easy.
It's one of two things. One of two things will happen. I'll fail or I'll succeed. And if I fail, I'll go back to the drawing board and I'll come up with something else to make money with,
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I say, it's not really about the money. I like the dogs. I like working the dog. It's enjoyable to me.
And that'll keep you wanting to do it. And that'll keep you honing your skill and your craft more and more because it's something that you want to do.
Man, a dog teaches you just as much as you teach it,
Without a doubt. It should.
They teach you how to take them. Some dogs can't handle a bunch of pressure, and some dogs you have to give them all the pressure in the world to get them. But it's all about, you got to learn to listen to the dog. I reckon it would be the best thing to say about it.
Yeah, you got to let the dog tell you what to do.
Right.
And how to treat it,
Right. It's just training the dogs like, a kid going to school. You don't have good days and you don't have bad days. But the number one rule on training any dog is being persistent and consistent.
Yep.
And, you might be tired and this and that at the end of the day if you're trying to train the dog. But, good dogs were made by dog-tired men. You're going to be tired.
Yep.
If you're going to make a good dog, it ain't easy.
Logan Campbell said the other night, he said, easy hunts will never make hard dogs.
That's it.
And I mean, that's without a doubt. And we had a full weekend of it. Brother, I ain't lying. We hunted and we did something different that I never do. I run dogs more similar like you do. And we have a couple of deep cast dogs that, they're cur dogs. But for cur dogs, they cast pretty damn deep, 3/4 of a mile to a mile.
Oh, yeah, they're getting after it.
Yeah, they get with it. All right, so we go down there with Logan and them, and they run more of a running style dog. And they'll get out there and cast. They get inside, they'll get one jump, and it's a race. And where they live at, the hogs run bad.
Right.
Because
they've been running, by running dogs.
That's exactly right. And a lot of them are barking on track, and I don't ever hunt like that. But I actually had a foxhound. We throw it in there in the mix with it. Dude, we hunted Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I think on the GoPro camera, we had a couple of little pigs or shoats that the dogs got a hold of. But other than that, we ain't put our hands on no fur. But every day it was 7 to 10 hours of hunting every single day.
Yeah. Well, when you take them running dogs and you jump a boar hog,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, if he's a big boar hog, he ain't get big for no reason. He's not like a dadgum Boone and Crockett, He's going to run to wherever them pigs and sows is and dump them dogs off. And dogs going to go on whatever's easiest. What you going to do? You want to catch something that can eat you, or you want to catch something you can eat?
That's exactly right. And that's no doubt. He had one spot we could have went Sunday morning that was loaded with pigs. I told him, I said, and then they've got one hog they've been chasing for a couple of years. And he's like, man, we get outrun every time. And I said, well, that's where I want to go. And by God, that son of a bitch outrun us for 7 hours straight. And I'm talking about them dogs come back, son. They didn't have no hair on their face. The briars done beat it off. But
And they know how to run, old hog. He knows
that's
what
right.
he's doing.
But like you said, it's the hunting, it's the persistent part, the consistency, staying there, taking your dogs, no matter what. We done had our asses handed to us for several days in a row. Most people would have just loaded up and headed back to the house. A lot of people would. I'm like, no, let's just go run them.
Yeah, you ain't gonna make a dog if you don't hunt him. You know,
That's exactly right.
You can't make him on the couch. And sometimes I'm bad about it when it gets hot. I don't like to go sometimes.
Oh yeah, it's tough.
It's hard hunting. You know, you get in all them thickets and all them briar bushes. And man, I went to a hellhole this year. I got off my four-wheeler and went there 100 yards, and I bet it took me 30 minutes, it felt like, to get in there, just briar after briar. By the time Rainey got to me, she was crying, you know.
Yeah.
Daggum, didn't know where I was. I'd flipped the four-wheeler on briars. It was so thick trying to get in there. Because like I say, I drive, you know, but it flipped the four-wheeler. It was so thick.
Damn it.
But
it's a big difference, like you said, with the difference in the dogs. I had the Jags, the Patterdales, all the game dogs, the Bull Terriers, the Airedales, all these hard-headed dogs, and I could train them easy. It became second nature to me, because you could put a handle on them, and you could use a hard hand if you need to. Wasn't no big deal. But then, like you said, those cur dogs are a little different.
That's right.
And to me, it takes more patience. It takes more of a dog man to train a finicky dog than it does a hard-headed dog.
Right, man. I mean, a bird dog's most times just high energy. That's why they're hard to train. I can deal with high energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the different type of cur dogs is just different, man. They're just a completely different dog from anything else that lives. They're weird. Mm-hmm. All of them. Every one of them.
Yep, I agree. Every one I've had has been different. I thought I had them figured out there at one time, and I was all the way wrong. And just get some more dogs and do it again.
Yeah.
So on the retrievers and the bird dogs and stuff. Now, what's your preferred breed that you like?
I like labs, man. I love a lab. I'm a big black lab guy. I had one I got him when I was 18, man. He was the best dog I ever had. Buddy of mine had a full-blooded lab that was gun shy, and across the road was a master hunt champion black lab, and they would breed all the time. You know what I mean? Just all the time they would breed. You know, they probably had 10 litters of puppies over the year.
Dang.
And I went over there and got one for $25 when I was 18. And Joey Todd bitched at me about that for a while, but that dog turned out to be my best friend and probably the best dog I ever owned, man. I'm talking about, I was 18, so he'd be trained like an 18-year-old, you know,
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't fancy. He'd pick up a bird and he'd bring it back to you, but he'd pick the bird up in the morning and you could take him in the evening and get on the horse and go ride a fire break and he'd go bay a hog. And when you got done with that, he'd go track your deer. And when you got done with that, you know what I mean, he'd go pick up some dove birds. He was a well-rounded dog, and he made me love them things. And he died. And when he died, I didn't want one for a while. You know, they hurt you, man. When a good dog dies, that hurts me. It hurts me, you know. It hurts me pretty good. That's about the only thing that gets to me. But a good dog, that gets me every time there. But I'll always be proud to have that heartbreak, because it's better to have the heartbreak of knowing you lost a good one than never have one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think we talked about this past weekend as well. Logan lost the dog to a gator while we were there. That was tough Friday morning. Well, we were talking and we wound up losing one. It's actually Rodney's dog, but she was all of our dog. I hunted with her ever since she was a little over a year old. But we were talking about it, and I've actually know some guys, met guys that it don't bother them. They've lost dogs. They're like, so and we were talking about it, and I was like, you know,
and
they've never had a good dog.
If you don't shed a tear for a good dog when he dies, you ain't had a good one.
That's what I'm saying. They just ain't had a good dog, I think.
Right. Or number two, you don't deserve one.
Oh yeah. Now, and
you
that's
know
the thing.
You shouldn't have a dog if it don't hurt you when they leave you. You know what I mean?
agree. But like I said, I really got to thinking about that part, and I was like, I think a lot of that holds true. Is if you've never had a really good dog, and that made you appreciate having it, then
Right.
I could see where it wouldn't bother you.
Right. Yeah.
Because
And
there's been a few
if you
dogs.
ain't have one that you appreciate having, you really ain't lived very good, if you ask
No,
me.
you ain't done worth the piss. I don't think. And
And
it is what it is. It's the truth,
right. Yeah.
as far as I can tell with it. But now on these,
Yeah.
do the labs, do they keep better than the cur dogs? Like, hold weight better. They easier to maintain.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't eat near as much.
Really?
Mine don't. I
Okay.
got one grown lab. I've got two cockers that I'm training, and I've got a puppy lab. I went against my will, man. Like I just said, I'm a big black lab man, but I went and looked at this litter of puppies, and this yellow male stood out to me big time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the way he acted. And I was like, man, I really want one of these black ones, but I think I need to get him. You know what I mean? I think that's the one I'm supposed to get right there. So I got him. Um, but and I work my lab just about every day. Right now I've been pretty busy. I'm working on manicuring this place, digging out the pond, building me some points out there, all that good stuff, cleaning it up so I can work a dog the right way. And for the most part, I work her every day. And, I'll throw 15, 20 bumpers. We'll work, 20, 30 minutes every day, sometimes less than that. I don't try to burn them out on it, because you'll burn a lab out the same way you burn a hog dog out.
Yeah.
When I see them getting a little slack, the way they're running out there to pick up a bumper, if they're not running as hard as they can, they need to go in the pen,
Mm-hmm.
But she works every day, and man, I feed her the same amount that I feed a dog that barely hunts, and she's fatter than they are.
Really? That's kind of
Yep, no
odd.
doubt.
You
She
know.
lays around for the most part, though, until she sees me coming.
Yeah. Then
Them cur dogs are usually running back and forth in their pen. They're bred a lot different.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ain't no doubt. That's the
I
way
mean,
ours are. They're crazy.
well, a lab's bred for a pet at a sense, but they're bred with a switch that a cur dog don't got. A lab's got a good on-off switch. They know when to turn it on and act wild, and they know when to turn it off and settle down and lay down on the couch and be a good dog. And that's why I like a lab.
I got you.
But
I like the
just
cockers. My dad, he raised, when I was young, he raised cockers. And we had some bad little bastards. I'm talking about phenomenal little dogs.
man, these are my first ones, and the one we've got, they're a lot more timid, and the ones that we've got, compared to a lab, like I'm
Yeah.
not calling them timid, scared, but they can't handle that a hard, stern voice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're females, but we've got a little black one, and she's gonna be a pretty good little dog, I think. She's got one of them smaller built cockers. Right now I'm working on four specs with her. She's moving right on along, catching the bumper and all that good stuff. So I think she's gonna be fine. I'm gonna take her to a few pheasant tower shoots this year, when she probably more so in January, when she's a little over a year old. Uh, but I think she's gonna be a pretty good little dog, and the other one might come around. It just takes time, man. It's being consistent with them. Can't give up. If you want to make the dog, you gotta go out there and work it.
That's exactly right. And that's, if people would do that, just work what they got instead of just trying to get more and more and more, they probably come out a lot better.
Oh, no doubt, man. I mean, it takes time. People get a dog and they expect that, as soon as you take it, to do exactly what you want it to, but it don't work like that. Sometimes you got to put in a little bit of effort. Some people don't want to, and that's fine. But if you want to make a dog, it's gonna take a little bit of effort.
Without a doubt.
You got to work for it. It ain't gonna be free.
So when are you gonna start taking dogs in to train?
I'll have my first set of kennels here in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
So I've got a couple lined up that'll be here. One I've got coming Sunday. So I'm gonna have 6 pins at first and see how it goes, and as if it, I get a bunch of calls and people's wanting some dogs trained, and I'm gonna call Connor and say, build me another set. You know what I
There you
mean?
go.
It's not a big deal. It's just all I'm gonna get my feet in there, but I'm not gonna jump all the way in until I get 15, 20 dogs under my belt, and people are calling me wanting me to train dogs, which I'm not trying to make a straight living off that. I've got other things I do, you know. So it's not a big deal, but I've got the time to do it.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, I'm already working 3 dogs. So, it don't, like I say, it takes 15, 20 minutes a day most of the time. Some dogs is different. Might take a little longer, might take a little less, but it's something I'm gonna give a try, man. I think I might do well with it. I might be wrong, might not do worth crap, but like I say, you can't do nothing but try. You'll fail or make it one. So it's no sweat off my back if I fail.
That's right. I mean,
So,
and the way I look at it is, it's not necessarily failure. It's learning the hard way. That's the way I look
right.
at it. It's like I'm learning, but damn, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
So it's
Which
one of those
I,
deals.
I'm not necessarily going to straight up advertise for it just yet. If people contact me, then that's how I'm going to take it. That's how I've kind of started it so far. I've had a bunch of interest just off of what people say on my Snapchat of what my dogs are doing. I've had, they'll slide, are you training dogs now? But I'm working on it. I'm getting ready for it. Just take me a little time. So I'm getting there. It won't be long,
I got you. We'll get some info and stuff, and Nate can put a link into the description and stuff. So if
Yeah.
people want to get a hold of you or whatever,
That'd be fine.
and maybe we can get you some, maybe get some folks on the right track, get their bird dogs started, get some meat
Maybe
dogs
so.
going.
That's right. I'll make you a meat dog. I'm not the best in the world by no means. I ain't saying that, but
Well, they ain't gonna find
Yeah.
nobody more honest. I know that.
that's
for
right.
a fact.
I'm not somebody who's you're going to, there's a lot of people out there that they'll send a dog to the trainer and the dog will stay there for 12 months and they'll get the dog back and the dog ain't worth a damn.
No, he ain't done shit.
Dog ain't doing nothing no more than he did when he left, and ain't nobody said nothing to you about it till it's over with and you owe them all that money, You send me a dog, and I don't think he's going to make it within the first month or two. I'm going to say, man, I don't think this is what you want. It's not what I would want. I'm not going to really keep charging you for this. You can come get it. If you want me to, I'll keep doing it. But I'm telling you, I don't think that the dog's going to make it, in my opinion. I could be wrong. You could send it to somebody and pay $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and they might be able to do something with it. But a dog's got to have his drive at the same token. They've got to have some type of drive.
Yes. And that's the thing.
So,
a lot of people, they get a dog and all these high hopes, and it's their first one or maybe their second one. And that doesn't mean that dog's going to turn out. I mean, that's the reality of it. And it can come from the absolute best breeders, the best kennels. There's always a chance that the dog.
There's a
won't make
limit
it.
in every bunch, man.
Yeah.
There's a limit in every. They can't all be superstars.
And that sucks because, like I said, I know some people who have had phenomenal dogs, and they have, they've raised tons of pups, and you have one every now and then that just don't do it.
Yeah, I mean that's just part. That's part of having dogs,
But
you
having
do have
somebody
some that
there
don't
to
make
tell
it.
you would be a great
Right.
help.
I'm not somebody who's going to take advantage of anybody. I've never been like that. My daddy raised me to be honest about dogs. We don't lie about dogs because what goes around comes around. I like to be straight up with people, so people are straight up with me. I don't bullshit or beat around the bush. You can get a dog from me or send a dog to me. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is when it is.
Yep.
There ain't no sugarcoating it. I'm fairly honest.
And that's what I like. And I think most true hunters that have dogs and have had dogs for years and years, that's what they want. They want somebody who's not going to bullshit them around and blow smoke up their ass and just say, well, man, if we get another month and it's going to cost you another $2,000, blah, blah, blah.
That's right.
You don't want that. Because I know a guy right now that's got a training pen, and I'm not going to say no names or nothing, but a good friend of mine sent him a pup, and it's he does tree dogs, you know. Well,
Right.
he called him. He said, "Hey, he's man, that pup." He said, he ain't got it." He was like, "Okay." He said, we'll give him just a little bit longer." He said, "And I'm not going to charge you." He said, "Because," he said, "I'm pretty sure it ain't going to work." He said, "But we'll give him a little longer." And he didn't charge him. Well, my buddy called him about 6 weeks later. He called him. He said, "Hey, man, just checking on that pup." He said, "All that pup just ain't make it." He said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I can come get him." He said, "Oh, no, I culled him." he said, "What?" He said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "I culled that son of a bitch." He said, "I wouldn't send that thing back home to you." He said, "He just absolutely." I was like, "Damn, buddy." I said, "That's a little bit extreme." But he did. He told
should
him,
at least give him a phone call first.
listen, he gave him a pup that was bred even better and already doing everything it's supposed to do.
Right.
In exchange for him paying for just the training part. He got the pup for free.
Right.
So I was like, damn,
Yeah.
he came out really good. He said he just felt bad because I talked to the guy later. He was like, "I just felt bad." He's like, "Man," he said, "I kept looking at that dog." He's like, "This damn thing is not going to make it." And so I kind of was like, "Well, shit, you should have called him." He said, "Yeah, it was in one of those spur of the moment deals, kind of and I just decided, you know what?" He said, "Then I forgot about it." I was like, "Damn, son."
Oh man. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I respect it. He made everything right on it, but I was like, that's a little bit much.
Yeah, give him a phone call next time.
Yeah, at least. So I know if I send my dog to him, I'm like, "Look, I gotta, like have that
Call
little
me,
name
man.
tag." Yeah, I'm gonna put that little name tag on his collar. Call before cull.
There you go.
And shit like that. So
Uh,
well, with all these ventures and that you've had over your life in the dog world and the hunting and stuff, tell us a couple of good stories. We always try to get a good story or two out of our guest, and I know you got some good shit you can tell us.
man, it depends on what you want to hear. We can talk about hogs or
It don't matter.
turkeys.
Hell, we got all the time in the world
Yeah, I
till the
ain't got
phone runs
nothing to
out.
do, man. I ain't got nothing to do. It's done got dark. I tell you one, um, about my eldest dog that I got. This goes back to hunting dogs a little bit too early. What we talked about. This was learning life lessons as a young Drew Todd. You know what I mean? Uh, I was deer hunting one afternoon in like October, and I think Rainey had just moved down here, and me and Rainey's been together for like 5 years now, and she had just moved down here, and that'd be about well, she's been down here for about 4 years, so yeah, that'd be about right. It was about a year old, and I was deer hunting, sitting on the ground in the branch, and I could hear hogs off in the distance. You know how a group of hogs will do. They'll be fighting amongst each other, and they were coming my way. And I was like, shit, I'm going to just get up and go get Elvis. This will be a good thing for Elvis right here. And I'll bring one of these other cur dogs that I got off of Nova down here with them. They were young, same age. And I'll walk to these hogs until they get on. You know what I mean? I knew they wasn't just going to go hunt. They had never really been hunted, but I'll walk to them till they get on. And so I take off in there walking, and the cur dog leaves and he goes one way, and Elvis takes off. He hears a hog squeal and he takes off one way, and I got the Garmin on Elvis, and me and Rainey standing right there in the branch, and Elvis runs down the branch about 200 yards, and I ain't really heard nothing, you know. I'm just kind of standing there. The hogs is done hushed. I'm listening, and he goes tree. And I think I heard him maybe whimper or the hog go boop, 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 down there one time or something like that. So we started walking that way. And, well, I mean, like I say, I walked all the way there. Hadn't heard him bark one time, you know, get all the way there. And Elvis has a 300-pound boar hog. He has had him caught for the 15 minutes that it took me to get there. And the hog is so tired at this point, and Elvis is so tired at this point that they're just laying down looking at each other, like face to face, you know. It's like big old hog. And I walk up, and this son of a gun's just chomping his teeth and breathing hard, just. And Rainey's like, "What are we going to do?" I was like, "Oh, my God." Then we were right on the edge of my field at my house. So, boy, I hit up old reliable daddy, bring me the bulldog. Bring me the bulldog. I had a bulldog at this time. And he goes, and it felt like it took him 30 minutes, to get there. And Elvis ain't barking. He's done had his ass whooped in the dirt. He's laying breathing hard. Luckily, he's not cut up because the hog had shanks on him. They were both tired. And, man, I start running this hog out into the field of my house. And I'm like in between the hog and the wood line, paying this son of a bitch myself. Just, hey.
Yeah.
keep him out of the woods, waiting on my daddy, and it's still like last light in the middle of, evening or whatever. And I'm just standing there, hey. And he's trying to walk off, and I'll run up on him and stomp, and he'll spin around and chomp his teeth at me. And there's a damn helicopter fly over low. I live off the back side of a military base, and I bet you they were looking down in there watching me like, look at this stupid son of a bitch right here. Because I was standing out there in the field with this hog, keeping him out of the woods. And about that time, I see Joey coming down from the house in his minivan, running about mock Jesus, coming through the pecan orchard. And he stops and gets the dog, and he's coming down now he's coming to the field to me. Well, he gets like 100 yards from me, and he gets out the van with Opie. Well, at this point in Opie's life, he's got a bad eye. He's blind in one eye. So Joey's walking this dog out here, holding him by his collar, and he's got his good eye tucked up against his leg, and his bad eye is where he needs to be seeing at. He can't see shit. So the dog's out there wondering where the hog's at, and Joey's walking to the hog, and this hog turns around and sees my daddy. And there's a video on my Facebook somewhere, dude. You can go find it. I'm sitting here videoing all of it, and the hog just turns around and charges my daddy, and because he sees the dog. And you hear me, watch out, daddy! And I just throw the phone by the hog, knock Joey down, and luckily Opie finally sees him once the damn hog hits him. And now Opie's caught the hog, but boy, we about had a mess out there. I run over there and dove on the hog. Joey fell right beside the damn hog, big old boar hog, 250 pounds probably.
Yeah.
But that was Elvis's first hog that he found.
That's it. Damn. That's funny. Say come out of that damn minivan.
But he was running mock Jesus
son.
down through there in the Toyota Sonoma, son. Had that thing skint back down through there.
Hell yeah.
Going to get open.
Get some help to him, son.
Yeah, boy. Elvis wasn't doing nothing. He done been beat all the way across the wood line, I reckon. Him and that hog was tired, like I said, but they was both breathing hard. And ain't neither one of them want no more of each other. But he wanted some of that bulldog once he seen him coming. And hey, I tell you, probably the first time or second time I took Elvis hunting with some old dogs. We went to this place in Jessup. These boys like, these hogs has been in here. And I was like, cool, man, we'll go down in here, check it out. And I had an old dog. His name was Biscuit. And Biscuit's probably the last dog I ever bought from somebody. But I bought him because I had a good dog get killed, and I didn't have nothing to make a young dog with, So I bought a good dog to start making dogs, Well, he's the one who made Elvis. But we was down in this branch, walked down in there, and Biscuit run off about 100 yards from me, and he oh, and I was like, that didn't sound right, it sounded like a booger bark or something. And I went running through there, and Elvis was with me. He was young, at a puppy at the time. This might have been before he even caught that hog. I think it was. Like, he was a puppy. And man, when I busted through them bushes and Elvis busted through them beside me, yonder stood 1,000-pound mama cow with a newborn calf that done got out the damn cow pasture off the backside of this field in this branch, and Elvis never slowed down. He run up there and hit this bitch upside her head just as hard as she could, and all my other dogs done knew what was up, and they done quit and run off, and I got this, puppy hanging off the side of this cow's head, and she's running through there, blah, blah, slinging her damn head, trying to get him off, and I'm just in awe, like, what in the hell am I going to do right here? You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, he's got a Garmin on him, so I start putting some electricity to him, and I finally get him off. But, man, that right there, you talk about a commotion in the woods. You run through the bushes, and you think it's a 200-pound boar hog or something, and it's 1,000-pound mama cow.
Yeah, that's something there. Yeah, I've been in that situation a long time ago.
Oh man, it ain't very fun. All my dogs are cow broke now. This was a long time ago.
Yeah, we were the same way. I was like, now, and to be honest with you, I had to toot my own horn on this one. My 2 dogs did not go to the cow, but the guy kept saying, he said, "Is that a bay?" I was like, "Yeah, I can hear him." And he kept saying,
"Sounds like one."
And I told him, I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "Something don't sound right." He told me, he said, "Get the bulldogs up here. Get the bulldogs up here." And they had 2 of them. I said, "Man, I don't know." I said, "Let's ease up here a little closer." He's like, "All right, some bitch is going to break." He said, I don't want to take no chances. Because it was a slow day. We ain't had no action.
Right.
And
you want to catch this some bitch and go home.
Yes, we cut. And look, it was already like 10:30, 11 o'clock. We ready to roll. Anyway, they cut them some bitches loose. And about that time, I heard a little bit of a bellow. I said, "Oh, shit, that's a cow." He's like, "No, it ain't." We all took off running, and we got there, and there was a little staffy swinging from that cow's top of her eyelid, and that son of a bitch was going around and around. And then there was one under her neck. And honestly, they did not even hurt the cow.
Right, he never hurt the cow, never bled or nothing when he caught her on the ear. Them suckers got that leather hide, man. They tough.
That shit was so funny, though. But I was laughing. And the reason I was laughing is because I had been so worried that my 2 little Jags that I had were going to get on a cow or a horse.
Oh, man, they'd be hell to get off of.
Oh, dude.
You can't get them little things, man. You can't get your hands on them. They'd be hell.
We had one named Twitch, and he decided he wanted to grab a horse's tail one day. And that son of a bitch, he was going through the pack. Nate looked at me. I was like, "You better get him. You better get him."
I didn't know whether to cry or to laugh because I was like, "Oh no, my dog!" But like he was just riding, and he wasn't even hurt.
No, he was hanging on the tail.
He was 4 foot off the ground.
Yeah, and he was literally straight behind the horse's ass like a little flag.
And he was just holding on.
He was just hanging on. But that son of a bitch come walking real slow out of that bottom when it was over with.
That horse trailed down that logging road, and we just kept watching the garment. And how far did he go? A mile?
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. That's been so long.
Yeah, that shit was so. And the only thing that the guy said, he was like, "Just don't let them dogs mess with my horses." I said, "Oh, they ain't going to mess with them horses." And boy, I
famous last words.
Yeah. That horse came right over
I will say
the dog.
The horse got out. He was in.
That's right. That's right.
The guy that lived there on the farm, he left the gate open, and that horse came all the way up there and stuck his head over in the back of the damn truck. And I was like, "We are fucked now." And it was hilarious. Like I said, but it didn't hurt nothing. Hurt the dog a little, pride a little bit. Didn't physically hurt him.
Yeah, did him some good.
Oh hell yeah, that was the best medicine he ever got right there. that crazy little bastard. After that, he kind of figured out, I can't whoop this horse. Even though I think he would have tried again, but I'm glad he didn't.
It's a lot bigger than I am.
Yeah, but stuff like that happens. And, there's a lot of guys out there that hunt, guys and women too, that they don't ever talk about that.
It happens, man.
Shit, man, it happens to everybody.
It's part of making dogs. You don't want it to happen. You get it stopped as soon as you can. But from time to time, it will happen if you hunt long enough.
Yeah, because when we're young and we first start hunting and we're getting into it heavy, man, we don't want to take time to just do a training day for breaking off cows or horses.
Yeah, you got to do that, man. You got to. It was easy for me. We had cows, I could turn them out right there on our own and break them off them cows and off them horses. But you need to do that, especially if you're going to run into a situation being around them. Mm-hmm. And you don't know where they at, and you just happen to stumble across them. It's a lot better to have one that's broke off of it than one that ain't.
Yeah, I've done got so gun shy over the years. First thing I do is say, "Hey, is there any cattle or horses anywhere close?" Even though I
always ask that too. I'll get on them old maps and look. There ain't no cows or nothing out here. Mm-hmm. Nah.
I don't think none of the dogs I have now would mess with any. I really don't, because we're around them all the time. But you never know.
Yeah, especially young dogs. Young dogs would be the only thing I'd say I got messed with them. Them older dogs, they ain't gonna mess with them. Man, I used to go thermal hunt with these big dogs on a cow farm.
Yeah.
1,000-acre cow farm, got 700 head of cows on it. And buddy, I could turn them dogs loose in the middle of the cows with the hogs. They'd run through and pick the hogs out. Wouldn't even look at the cows.
Well, that's pretty cool there. That's something I want to do.
I've got some thermal videos of it. I got videos of it. You look hard enough, you find it on my Facebook. There's a video of it. They run. There's these hogs. They run past them and they start to run to a cow, and they think it's the hog, and they slam on brakes, turn around, and come straight back, catch the hog.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
Yeah,
Seen the one you're talking about, because that's man. I was like, damn, I want to go do that. We went out and hunted with Henry Williams.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a couple months now,
Yeah.
month and a half, and we had a good time. And we were gonna go run thermal dogs, and I mean, we went that one night, and there was so many. I have never seen that many deer other than South Texas in one place. And now there was hogs in the field, but you could tell they were all small, and we were just trying to find one good hog to turn loose on.
Man, that's what thermal hunting really is. You know, you ride around, you ain't looking to catch no pigs or nothing like that. You looking for a trophy.
Yeah.
You know,
because I
want
got
to see a good hog's got a good chance. You know, either he's gonna whip them dogs' ass and walk away, or they're gonna catch him in that field. One of the two.
That's right. Yeah, because I talked to Will Booth before about coming down and hunting with him, and you know I've talked with you some before, and we're just now getting where we can travel a little bit and go visit and hunt with other people. And
man,
it's a blessing to be able to do that. So I mean, I'd like to come out and run thermal dogs, or hell, just ease around and bulldog some in a cornfield with a 4-wheeler. We're running some.
There you go. Hey, well, you know, the thermal season, it fires up when it gets cold. Them hogs get hungry and they get out in them fields. You know, colder it is, the better it is. Always is.
Hell yeah, we have to get with you and come do that. That'd be fun there.
Man, I've had some fun times. We like it. We enjoy it. Take them dogs out there and watch them slap a good hog.
What's the biggest hog
every
you
now
caught?
And then
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Do what now?
I said, what's the biggest hog you've caught? You know, regular hunt and then doing the thermal hunting too.
Thermal hunting, we've caught a big old bar one time. He was like 395. He's a big old son of a gun. And there's some bigger ones over there on that cow farm that was probably bigger than that, man. I'm a realist, dude. Hogs don't get very big. Wild hogs don't get big. People say they got a 400-pound hog, and it's usually about 250. When I tell you he was 395, I put him on the scales. He was 395. He's a big old sucker. And I've caught a boar hog out there with his nuts that was like 295 with some shanks on him, you know. But I think a lot of them had some domestic in them, is why they got so big, you know.
I agree. I've seen some big hogs, like you said, I'm not going to tell you a weight unless it's on the scale. And if I do say it, it's probably going to be 25, 30 pounds less. I'm gonna sandbag it because I don't want to look like a dumbass.
That's right.
You know, and I talked to a guy a little while.
Hog
no, go ahead.
We caught with the cur dogs, man. I had some shitty dogs at the time, and we was really just walking through the clear cut, and I was like, man, this looks like a hog path right here, you know. And it wasn't even. I don't even think my dogs was out. Mine was shitty, you know, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we was walking. I said, man, that looks right there like where a hog be laid up. And wasn't long, here come a dog, walked past us and walked down in there. And a daggum 300-pound boar hog stood up, 300, 330, something like that. Big old joker. He was long and wide, not fat. You know what I mean? Big, long legs, big old joker. And she went to bait him right there in front of us. We watched him start baiting. And I went to calling on the phone, trying to get these boys to come on. Nobody would answer the phone, dude. And they finally answered the phone, sent the whole box in there to him. He cut everything that was on the ground in a matter of 30 seconds. And he broke and run like 50 yards. And we got over there. When I grabbed hold to him, I went hollering for some help. He was big. You know, he's probably bigger than 300. He was a big old hog. You know, couldn't close your hand on his leg. That's a big hog.
Yeah, that's a damn big hog.
When you can't touch your fingers when you grab hold to him, you know, you grab hold of them back legs, you can't touch your fingers. That's how your first sign is that you got something in your hand over 300 pounds.
Yeah, that's 300 pounds is a big hog, you know, to me.
Oh, it takes a big old hog to be 300 pounds, especially a boar hog, you know, with his nut. But that joker cut everything that was there, and we went and put the dogs up. And I had this sucker tied up, and I was laying on the ground working on a dog, laying on my stomach, sewing this dog up. And this hog was sitting over there in the mud, looking at us, chomping his teeth, kind of moving around and stuff. And one of the boys that was with me was like, "Man, that hog's about to get up." I said, "He ain't getting up." I ain't even looked. I said, "He ain't getting up." I just kept on tying. He said, "I'm telling you, he's about to get up." I said, "He ain't gonna get up." He said, "Oh God, here he comes!" And I looked both and here that son bitch come out in the mud, and he was running straight for me. Everybody left me, jumped on the buggies and the 4-wheelers. Hey, I wasn't even working on my dog. I, being the good Samaritan, went to run and seen the dog laying on the ground, went to pick the dog up. And when I went to run, I tripped and fell. And when I tripped and fell, this son bitch run right over the top of my leg and never stopped. And he run out there in the clear cut, and we had to go all the way back and get the dogs. And by this time, I done called this landowner. And I was like, "No, boy, we got a big one caught in here." And he's like, "I'm on the way. I'm on the way." So we ain't got the damn hog no more, dude. I feel like such a dumbass. And this dude pulls up on me as I'm sitting on the dirt road on the side of the road, head tucked between my legs. Dogs is running this hog, but I'm like, I know they're never going to stop him. We just caught him, and you think he's going to stop? We got 2 of the not greatest dogs on him. Well, they wound up stopping him a mile later in there. And the guy who owns it, he's like, "Let me take you as close as we can get." I was like, "All right." Well, the night before, my dadgum bulldog's eye had just got busted. He just lost his eye. So it was fresh wound. So this dude pulls us up to this end of this road of some, 5, 6-year-old, 7-year-old pine trees, head high, that's just overgrown with briars. And it's like 400 yards. And he's like, "This is as close as we can get." And I was like, "Damn, for real?" He's like, "Yeah." And I didn't have a 4-wheeler at the time, and I was running baying dogs back then. We could hear them baying. So I'm walking. We're walking through there, take off walking, and I ain't made it far. And about this time, Bo, I dragged my bulldog, and he walks into a stick, and it hits him in the same damn eye that he just had busted the night before. And he goes to hollering, and I'm like, "Oh, God, man, this ain't good." So I picked him up and put him on my shoulders and toted this son of a gun all the way to the hog, petting him, saying, "Good boy, it's all right. You can do it.
Yeah.
Just catch him one more time for me. Catch him one more time." Hey, man, we walked all the way there, and we got about 75 yards from this hog. And I'll be damned. Guess what we popped out a road?
Uh-oh.
And guess who was coming down the road to us?
Damn
the
it,
landowner on the damn buggy. I was like, "Look at this shit. He made us walk all the way through here like this." Well, we keep on going down there. And this hog's, there's 2 dogs on him, and they sitting there baiting him right off the side of this fire break. And I got my buddy Kevin Sapp with me, and he's walking up in front of me, and he's like, "Turn the bulldog loose." And I sent the bulldog, and he run up there and went in the bushes, and he couldn't see. He was looking for the hog, you know what I mean? He just learned how to be blind like the day before. And he finally sees it. Well, the hog breaks, comes out, runs straight at Kevin, and Kevin like sidesteps him. And he thinks the hog's going to keep running past him. No, hog hit the brakes, cuz turned around. And I said, "He's coming back. He's coming back." And daggum, Kevin looked back, and there the hog come behind him. He took off running down the fire break, and he wound up tripping and falling. And when he tripped and fell, the hog just run over the top of him because them dogs were so close on his ass, and they caught him right there beside us.
Went all the way around the country
right there, because he was a damn giant, had some big old teeth, and he gave us a time.
And came all the way back around right in your pocket.
Dog still caught him.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, it's the shit that you see and deal with. It's amazing. Most people will never understand it. You know what I mean?
Dude, if I'd had a camera 15 or 10 years ago, there's no telling what would be on film now. You know what I mean? That's another reason why we're filming stuff. If I'd had a camera back then for all the stuff that I've done seen,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. That's the same thing with me. It's like I had back then, we had some cell phones that had cameras, but they weren't worth the piss. I mean.
Right. Everything's blurry when you look at it.
Oh, yeah. It's horrible. And now it's like, everything has come so far, it's almost, why wouldn't you do it? You know, it's almost to that point now. It's like, well, why would you not try to video everything?
Yeah, it's at your disposal, you know.
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, almost everybody has a phone on their hip, you know,
Right.
and so
That's it.
it's pretty damn easy.
It's easy and something to remember the dogs by when you ain't got them no more.
That's exactly right. And because I got a lot of pictures of stuff, but I got more pictures of dogs than I do anything. I'm
Absolutely,
sure.
man. I got pictures of houses and dogs and hogs on my phone.
That's right. Exactly right. So, what do you got any kind of health tips or tricks that some of these new listeners, or any kind of advice? Because like I said, we got a lot of new
health,
people.
Man, the cleaner you keep your pens, the healthier your dogs is gonna be. That's where you start for sure when you talk about health. And if you got them on chains, you know, the more you worm them and the more you switch your wormer up, the healthier they're gonna be too. I've got a couple dogs on chains. Most of mine's in pens, but me myself, I wash houses for most of my living. Soft wash, pressure wash, and stuff like that. So about once a week, I bleach my pens out and I clean them out good, you know. But every day, I go down there and wash them out with the pressure washer to keep them clean. You know, the cleaner them pens are, it's a lot easier to keep a dog healthy when he ain't got nothing to be unhealthy in, you know.
That's right. And that's you're exactly right on that. Just overall maintenance of upkeep.
Yeah.
Just cleaning everything up. And it ain't got to be a damn bleach and scrub every time.
No,
you know?
no, you ain't got to do. I mean, I do it because it's easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You got all the stuff there, and it's at your disposal. It's a little, like you said, you got a little more time. You can do things like that. So, but at the same time, if you got a bunch of dogs, you got to consider the amount of time you have to put in them.
Yeah, so, I mean, once a month you should, you know, if you got a bunch of dogs in the pens, bleach them down if they don't look the best in the world. If they been wormed and been fed right and all that stuff, they don't look the best, bleach your pens down. Kill, you know, them worms can live in that concrete or that wood or whatever you got your dogs on. They can live in that.
A lot of folks don't realize that, and there's so much bullshit on the internet. And we have been starting to doing this stuff. What'd you call it, Nate? Technical Tuesday?
Yeah.
Or
and then I was gonna have Factual Friday.
Yeah. So it's just like going over, like you did coccidiosis a couple weeks ago, and then we'll do
like tapeworms.
Yeah, we'll do tapeworms and all these facts and stuff, because like I was reading some stuff the other day and I was like, dude, y'all crazy. Talking about parvo, they were like, parvo will only live, 24 hours here, and in this, I was like, you crazy as hell.
Yeah.
Like,
and there was a pen that my daddy had, a dog that had parvo in it one time, and he never put another dog in it again.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's it. I've had it on one side of my yard when it, years ago. And
this was 20 years ago, man. We hadn't had nothing. The less stuff you drag up to the house, the less stuff you're going to have in your yard.
Without a doubt. And I fought with that stuff for probably about 4 or 5 years. And after I finally, there was no signs of anything, I was able to raise pups and keep young dogs again, not worry with it. We went to a bay pen last year and brought some puppies back for a guy. And sure enough, the next day I go out there and those puppies, it was rough. But luckily, we hadn't even took them out of the box. I don't like
bringing puppies home. I don't like anybody's. If it ain't my puppy, I don't want it at my house.
That's the last one. And that's exactly what I said too. I was like, I'm not trying to be an ass, but I had a little bull terrier Jip that I got from a friend.
And when I say puppy, you know what I mean? 7, 8, 10 weeks old.
Yeah, puppies.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with me. I'm like, I can't do it anymore because I wound up losing a very, very valuable pup. And it was the only one that I had that was even close to him. And keep in mind, now we just parked the truck and that was the closest pen.
Right.
And she's the only one that had anything. But at the same time, it's like, I just don't want to do it at all anymore. I don't want to take
That's
the chance.
it, man. It's too big of a risk, especially if you got stuff that you like and that you're breeding for yourself,
Mhm.
it's too big of a risk to drag something up, because it's very easy to drag something up in the yard.
Yeah. And now we don't even know this was parvo. It had like similar symptoms.
Right,
This
but it
is
could have been coccidiosis or anything.
this is something like I have never seen, Drew. There was like they were throwing up like just blood, solid blood, and they were shitting solid blood. I mean, it was the wildest thing I ever seen. It was bad. And the guy, when he got home, he called me. He told me, he said, "Hey man, something's wrong," because the mama dog had it, and I think he lost 9 dogs altogether.
Yeah.
Justin lost. He lost a lot of dogs. He didn't do, it wasn't nothing that he done. It wasn't even neglect or anything on his part. He said the only thing he done different was he had fed him some chicken. So he don't know if it was like some kind of bad salmonella deal or what.
Dang. What is it, Junior?
It's pretty wild though.
Old retired hog dog. He just got up. He woke up from his nap. He's over here whining, wanting me to pet him.
Yeah, I was thinking, say I heard him in the background there, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. He daggum. He keeps my old lady company when I stay out all night long.
There you go. Now
he guards.
Does Rainey hunt with you a whole lot? Or a good bit?
Every now and then she'll go. I'll take her with me, but sometimes she don't. She lets me go have my time. She knows I enjoy it.
Yeah.
She likes to go with me. Whenever she ain't working, she works pretty hard. She'll outwork most men herself.
There you go.
But you daggum, sometimes she don't feel like it. Whenever she feels like it and I'm going, she'll go.
I got you. Well, my wife, she don't care nothing about
so she can take the pictures and the videos. She likes to do that.
Yeah. Man, my wife, she's went with me a couple times over the years, a few times, but she just never really got into it. She loves the dogs and stuff, but she just don't care about the hog hunting.
Well, I about broke Rainey the other night. Like I told you, I flipped the pole up trying to get in that briar thicket.
Yeah.
Man, them dogs had a 250-pound hog caught 100 yards in a briar thicket in the backside of a gator hole. Like I said, it took me forever to get there. And I got in there and had lost my knife, couldn't tie it, couldn't do nothing with him, So I was like, shit, I drowned him,
Yeah.
And he was so tired, it was fairly easy. I flipped him over, the dogs popped off, and we all stood in the water and looked at each other while I baptized him.
Yeah.
And I got done and stood up, and Rainey was nowhere to be found. And I couldn't see her light, dude. I couldn't see nothing.
Oh, damn.
And I went to calling her, and she didn't answer the phone. And I said, oh, my God, I'm going to have to find her in this shit. This is going to take all night.
Yeah.
And I was standing there, and about that time, she popped through the bushes. And, buddy, it was so thick that I did not see her light until she come through the bushes, and I could see her. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, that would get your nerves rattled a little bit there.
Yeah, when she come through the bushes, she was crying and shit, and that one did her in pretty good. That one was, I told her walking out, I said, I've been due for a bad one for a while.
Yeah. I got
They
you.
ain't all easy. If they've all been easy for a while, but you due for a bad one. It's gonna come.
Ain't no doubt. We have been on a roll, a hot streak for Nate? Probably year and a half, 2 years. Like we went 1 year, we didn't have a dry hunt at all ever. Right. Every single cast, and I'm talking about stacking them. I think we were at 300 or so with dogs last year.
Dang.
Oh man, it was phenomenal. This year we started out real good and we've been pretty steady. But this last month, I'm talking about I'm gonna have to go to the sale barn to find a fucking hog. I swear. And we have run them and we have caught them and we have stopped them, but we ain't put no hands on them. Right. It's been like that when Miles and them come down, we've been in some bad positions. We haven't had nothing bad happen.
It's hot too, man. Old dogs get more
dry
out
here
this time of the year.
It's so damn dry right now here.
Yeah.
I wish we'd get a little rain.
Man, we got 25 inches in 3 days.
God damn.
The river was at a 99-year high.
I didn't know it got that damn wet out there.
But it was 20 foot out the bank.
Damn it, boy.
It was bad. It was bad.
That's just been
There was shit
recently.
flooding. There was shit flooding that should have never flooded. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's all just here recently, right?
Yeah, this was like maybe getting close to a month ago now. Not quite a month, 2 or 3 weeks ago. It hadn't been very long ago.
A hurricane come through.
Yep, that Debbie.
Yeah.
Yep. We got a lot of that water here.
Oh, Debbie
It
got
just
it
like
moist.
made a loop, man, and then stayed on top of us and just rained and rained and rained.
Damn. Well, I mean,
But
I guess it's better than being too dry.
yeah, it's drying up now. We ain't had no rain since that, and it's getting pretty dry now.
I got you.
But
Well, I got one or two questions I want to ask before I let you go. I know we've been at this for a pretty good while, but and I want to ask you this. Oh, Ryan Rankin, he started this shit a while back, asking a couple questions, and one of them was, if you could hunt with anybody from the past, who would it be? Anybody. It don't matter at all, and it don't matter how far ago.
I don't know, man.
It makes you think, don't it?
Yeah, I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, he tries to pop that shit on me all the time. So I'm like, well, I'm going to start popping it on other people.
Shoot. Man, I don't even really know.
Yeah.
I'd have to really sit and ponder on that. I know. I'd like to, if I could go hunt with anybody, I'd like to go turkey hunting with Colonel Tom Kelly. If I could go with anybody, that's what I'd like to do.
I got you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. That man right there, he was a sure enough turkey hunter. Can you imagine going turkey hunting every day for an entire turkey season and never hearing a turkey, but going every single day, having that much grit to get up and go anyways, but never hearing a turkey? I didn't hear one so much that hadn't went and had his ears checked.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Well, tell us a story on it. I don't know all this. Tell me a little history on that. Tell me a story on that.
You'll have to look up Colonel Tom Kelly. He's an author. He's like one of the greatest literature writers for turkey hunting type deal. He's got a book called The 10th Lead, is what it's called. But you read that book, man, there's all kind of stories in it, and he writes about the turkey hunting. But they did a documentary not too long ago, I think is where I watched that. And it's called The Colonel and the Fox. You can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's about Mr. Fox Hayes, the man who's father of the dude who founded Mossy Oak, Toxie Hayes.
Yeah, Toxie.
And Tom Kelly. And because they're like the oldest living men that are turkey hunted. They were around when there was no turkeys. You know what I mean? And he hunted. There were so little turkeys that he went hunting every day for the entire turkey season, and he never heard a bird gobble. But he got up and he went every day anyways.
Wow.
And could you imagine wanting to kill a turkey that bad?
That's pretty damn. That's a lot of grit.
It takes it to do it, man. That turkey hunting, it ain't for everybody, but if you ever get in on a good one and he gobbles in your face, you'll enjoy it just as much as anything. It'll take you over.
Yeah.
Like I say, turkey season rolls around here, man. They get their 45 days worth of respect out of me. I hunt them.
Hell yeah. Well, man, that's awesome. We're going to put some links and stuff. Nate's going to get the information. And so that way, if people want to get in contact with you for any of the dog training and,
man.
And also to your YouTube channel, Southern Way Outdoors, y'all make sure y'all go check out Drew on that too. And man, I just it's been good just sitting and talking with you. This makes my job easy.
I appreciate y'all having me.
This makes my job easy. It does.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me. If y'all ever want to do it again,
yeah.
Matter of fact, I've got to come to Alabama in November to pick up a lab puppy. I've got to go all the way across it, all the way to Mississippi. Maybe we can set something up. I'll swing by and come in the room with y'all.
Yeah. Where about you going to, Mississippi?
Going on the other side of Alabama. It'll be like I think it's Lindale.
Yeah, Lindale. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, Lindale, Mississippi. You'll come right. If you hit I-22, you will be 2 miles from my house, or
That's what I say.
you'll
I
be a
might have
mile
to
and a
just
half
swing
from the
by.
store. Yeah, you'll literally be a mile and a half from the store off the interstate. And my house is exit 61 off of I-22, and the
Well,
store is
whenever I
exit
get
65.
closer to date and I figure out when I'm going, I'll call
Yes.
Nate or you, and we'll get up. Me and Rainey will swing by and see y'all for a day or something.
Damn right.
For sure.
Yep, y'all come do that.
I'd pray
For
we
sure.
will be glad to.
All right, buddy. Well, man, you tell everybody we say hello, and we really appreciate having you on here.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me, and like I say, hope to see it. Maybe I'll see y'all in November. We can do it again.
Hell yeah. That'll work, buddy.
All right, we'll see y'all, fellas. Thank y'all.
See you,
Thank
buddy.
Drew.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's the Mr. Drew Todd. And I've been knowing Drew. We've been knowing him for a pretty good while. Knowing who he is. I know when I first met him, he was real young. I knew his dad beforehand a little bit. He's a good dude. Ain't no doubt. He's the one that gave me the best advice on the bay pen dogs. And me and him were talking, and I was like, I said, well, what can I do to really improve or to make these dogs better? He looked, he's like, well, you want me to give you some advice for sure? I was like, yeah. He said, well, you're in the bay off, right? I was like, yeah. He said, they're baying a 10, right? He said, well, don't fuck them up. Just leave them alone. And it was the truth.
Yeah.
It was 100%.
When they need it, pour it on them.
And he's the one that also, when we were talking about them making a mistake, to pull them out. And I done it while we could have won. But I said, if I win, we win with a 10. And the winning dogs had a 9-8. And we had a 9-9 with 4 seconds to go, and I hogged out. I still think that was the dumbest shit I've done, but at the same time, I stuck with my principles. And but like I said, if any of you guys out there, you want to get a bird dog work, retrieving and stuff like that, Drew is a hand at that now. Like and it's not just that. I mean, the hog hunting, deer hunting, the man, he's had dogs forever, but he's really got the finesse for and he's humble. He says, I can do all right with it. He's full of shit. He can really do this. And he's not going to lie about it. He's not going to beat around the bush. He's going to be respectful about everything. He's always been respectful. And he's one of those that's going to, he's going to give you some honest feedback, and you're going to get what you pay for.
Oh, yeah. I'd say 95% of all the handling I ever done with a bay pen dog, like with Chaos and Junior, was because of what Drew Todd taught me.
Yeah.
Because he spent a lot of time with me at Hickory.
He said
several competitions where he'd come over there and be like, hey, you need to tell him, put it on a little more when he looks like that. He was the one that taught me.
He was the one to tell you, like, when they're standing up,
posture and
picking their head up,
how to read those
Yes,
dogs.
he did. He sure did.
I mean, I was young teenager when I met Drew, and he probably was early or late high school.
I think he's probably 18, 19 years old.
Early 20s. I think he's like 26.
27 is what he just said.
And so, I mean, he's only 4 years older than me, but he made a lot of impact on me.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like, we've never like hung out like we do with some of the other guys at the Bay Pen, because usually when Drew's there, like, I mean, he's
winning. Usually.
He's drinking cold beer and stuff, but he's busy. He's busy with his dogs. So, and I mean, that's how it goes. So, but we are trying to get this new building. It's not brand new. It's an old building, but it's a new building. It's new to us. We're trying to get all this junk moved and get that place spruced up so we can get everything moved in it. So we're trying to keep up with all that, and still trying to travel and hunt a little bit. Just trying to give y'all a little update on what we're doing. We have people that ask all the time. So, and we interact with a lot of folks and some of our listeners. We've had here lately, I don't know, I couldn't tell you how many people. They just, they send us a message and just, let us know, hey, we appreciate what y'all doing. Thank you for doing this. And we ain't done nothing. I mean, we ain't done shit. We're just here. That's all it is. But if there's if there's something else that we can do to make it better, to make it easier or more understandable, let us know. And for the listeners out there that have contacted us, y'all know that we'll answer you.
Oh yeah.
Like me or Nate, one of us is going to text you back. It might be a fucking week, but we're going to get back to you as soon as we can.
I usually try within at least 2 days. If I don't respond to you within 2 days,
well, a lot of times we're gone.
Yeah. Like there was one guy that emailed us on Friday, and he had re-emailed us again Monday morning as I was going to respond to his other email. And I was like, well, dang, I don't want the boy thinking I wasn't going to respond. We just didn't have any service.
Nope.
But
and that's the thing about it. It's like,
we love hearing all the feedback.
Yep.
It makes us, for me especially, it's like, hey, this is why we do what we do, building the community, growing it. We all on the same page.
Mhm.
And plus, y'all tell us some wild shit sometimes.
yeah,
and it's
some of it's cool. Some of it's crazy.
it's entertaining.
Yeah. We just got back from Logan Campbell's and we recorded with him while we were down there. And that's going to be a good one. Yeah. There's going to be some stuff on there you're going to hear me say, and you're going to be like, damn, he's on a rant. And I wasn't really on a rant. I was just saying what I need to say.
Well, because you're arrogant, not stupid.
Yeah, well,
I'm just messing with you.
No, I'm just like,
quote from Logan.
The things like we talked about were like people and how relative they are to what we do. Where they're not. Each one of you people that are listening, you're individuals. You have your own individuality. I cannot control what you do, and I should not control what you do. No. You should not worry about what I think. You should worry about what you think, and you should worry about what you're doing. Yeah. You should worry about what you're presenting yourself as.
Yes.
You should worry about, how your dogs are taken care of. If you're happy with it, that's all that matters. As long as you're not hurting nobody else or stepping on nobody else's toes. And you'll hear me say that. I'll be like, so fuck them.
Oh yeah.
That's how I feel. And I don't mean it in a bad way, by no means. It's not like just outright fuck them. It's like, if this guy over here is not happy with what I do, well, that's his problem.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm not doing anything to bother him.
Yeah.
And like we get it. It's one of those deals where I wish more people would kind of have that a little bit instead of trying to pacify.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it shouldn't be like that.
Hey, you know how
you can agree to disagree about shit and move on.
You know how I am.
Me and Logan agreed and disagreed a bunch.
Oh yeah. All three of us, the type of people
greatest guy in the world
that'll do it the hard way just to find out for yourself.
Yep. No doubt.
Just so you understand. But.
So y'all make sure that if you have a company or business and you want to do some advertising, we have some of that available.
Let us know.
On here as well. If you got a kennel and you want to advertise pups or something like that, or breedings or stud services, we have a slot for that we can work in for a small nominal fee. We will tell everybody your dog can throw that dick down. Just saying.
Service is available.
Stud service. That's how it works. So till next time, we out this mother. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hope y'all enjoyed that episode. Stay tuned for our new episodes every Monday and Wednesday. For questions, advertising, or just to chat, email DixieDoggers01@gmail.com.